Okay. All right, you ready? Was this the late mic? Was the puffy one?
Baby.
Nice. Okay. There we go. All right, I think that adds a little bit there. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And so I want to welcome everyone. Today we're joined for sort of a groundbreaking of sorts, but really just an early update on the construction out here at the Southeast Area Subcommand. And we're going to hear from our police chief and some community members on this project, and we'll see sort of if there's some other city folks here, depending on what the questions are. So want to, of course, just appreciate the architect firm behind this, and I think it's DG Designs. Hartman Majewski. Oh, I'm reading your face mask. Hartman Majewski and Wheel Construction. So we appreciate their work on this. And, you know, when I took office, I mean, Albuquerque was at such a crossroads for a lot of investment in public safety. And we saw it in technology, we saw it in the number of officers, and we also saw it in infrastructure. This is it's the busiest sub-command in the city, and it's the largest area command in the city. And it had one of the oldest, smallest stations. And it created a constraint around a lot of things. How primarily we can do community policing. There wasn't even enough sort of room or space for how we handle specialty cases like domestic violence or our community policing and outreach efforts. And so this is really going to help. And as a reminder, these plans were actually drawn up under the previous administration. They chose to prioritize other projects, which is what it is. Just letting you know, the plans for this had been in place for a decade, and the city just never stepped up and did it. So that's what we're doing here today. Now, we know that all crime problems persist, and there's lots of things that we have to do on lots of fronts to deal with that issue. I think a key difference is that we're sort of rejecting some outdated approaches, and we're making needed investments that we should have made a long time ago across the board. But some of them have to do with just making our substations more usable for the officers who actually work here every day. So for us, this is a combination of, you know, some council funding, budget process, legislative asks, capital outlay, the usual kitchen sink of funding that made this available. And also, I want to mention that, you know, this is, again, in conjunction with software purchases that we're doing, with those radio purchases that we're doing, and with our commitment to 100 new officers. We've been able to hit that commitment. We said we'd try 100 a year, and more or less, it's because it's on the fiscal year, not the calendar year, we're basically still hitting 100 a year. And so it can't happen soon enough, but we've been able to do that. So this is just another piece in that modernization of our department and a recommitment to community policing. Now, the project itself, this is just a 4.1 investment, and it had money going all the way back to 2015 in the GO bond cycle, and 2017 and 2019. These are all things that the voters passed and voted on. And so I want to mention, too, there are units that we want to work out of here, like our violence intervention unit and so forth, that we'll be able to do that with this additional space. And so with some wrangling, you know, with council and others, we were able to get phase 1 done. There is a second phase planned, but we don't have funding for it yet, which would continue out in that direction. So we will talk about some of the details on this, but we hope that this should be done by fall 2021. And that would be great too, because now, of course, some staging can be done outside in parking lots at area commands, but in the winter it just gets a lot more difficult. So this is timed nicely with the weather. So with that, I will introduce, for some more info on this, our Chief of Police, Harold Medina. Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. This is a great day for Southeast Albuquerque as we look to renovate and update the Southeast substation. When I came on about 26 years ago, you know, the substations are basically all in place. We've built 2 substations since then. The Foothills got a brand new substation. The Northwest got a brand new substation. Right around the early 2000s, the Southwest substation went through a renovation and a remodel, as did the Northeast substation at one point during my career. And in both of these locations, a community room was added. It left the Southeast substation as one of those last substations that hadn't gone through through that renovation. And I'm glad that we're able to move forward with that renovation this year. I want to thank everybody that's worked hard. Like the mayor said, it was a sink full of different funding that brought us to this point where we're able to update the Southeast substation. But I think you've got to remember that it's a good thing for, in a lot of different ways. For the community, it's an upgrade and a sense of pride that their substation has been updated. It's also a place where they'll be able to meet. The addition of a room where the community can meet, talk amongst the community or amongst the community and officers is important. But also at the same time, on the other side of that, it's an important addition for the officers, creating a better workspace. There will be a gym for the officers, so it's also good for the officers. So this is another one of those situations where we're able to balance both the needs of the community and the needs of our employees to ensure that we continue to move forward. So Mayor, thank you. Thank you to everybody involved in this and for assisting us in getting this project done. And I look forward to the fall of 2021 when we're able to take a tour of the facility. Thank you.
No, help us out here. Nice.
Big print on it.
It's like when you sign the concrete, you've got the chief's boot print over there. So, okay. Next up, we want to hear from some of our community members from this area, and we have Khadijah Bottom and Peter Belletto from the District 6 area, and also Kathy Turner from Fair West. You guys can kind of all come up and take turns or whatever you'd like.
I'm going to go first. So good evening, and thank you guys for coming. I've been a longtime resident of the Southeast area, and especially here in the International District. I would just like to say thanks to the mayor and his administration. Since I've been in this area, this is the first time I've seen so much work being done in the Southeast area. And I'm particularly enthused about the expansion of our Southeast area station because it's coming right in time as we get ready to embark upon opening the Gateway Center. So hopefully the residents and homeowners in this area will now feel like, you know, we are listening to their concerns about what's going to take place at the Gateway. And like I said, I would just like to thank them. I'm looking forward to this so I can have more room to come and bother Commander Yarrow, who I stop whenever I see him. And just as I said, as a resident and vice president of District 6 that encompasses this area, I am excited.
Good afternoon. The renovation and upgrade of the Southeast Command facility is a commitment by our mayor to provide public safety for the folks living in the Southeast Heights, District 6, and across our great city. The Southeast area, District 6, ranges from Nob Hill to the ID. And of course, in the ID, you find a collection of many blue-collar neighborhoods. Under our mayor, working closely with District 6, multiple major capital projects have been funded. The International District Library comes to mind. You folks understand it's $12 million right in the center of the International District, soon to be completed, 2021. The Loma Linda Community Center on the other side of District 6, $2 million to renovate that facility and to build a long-needed gymnasium. Parkland Hills, if you've driven through it, the Southeast Heights, if you've driven through it, you see roads have been improved, ADA compliance to sidewalks, Again, a commitment to public safety, quality of life. That is a basic tenet of the Keller administration. The lead coal traffic safety study has been very, very successful. We found a way to reduce speed, again, to enhance public safety, and there's a continuing engineering study in process to continue to improve traffic and public safety in this area. Again, working very, very closely with District 6, University Heights, and Nob Hill. The San Pedro substation, and ladies and gentlemen, this is the longest gap between stops. And Mayor Keller is committed to get that up and running and in operation by 2021. On Trumbull, you find the Trumbull Village Homeless Project. Through funding from the mayor's office, the Compassion Center has been added to this marvelous community organization, providing alternatives for homeless people, giving them a second chance. The city and a private group working together to better the quality of life across District 6. Wilson Park has recently been completed, $1.5 million. The upgrade is outstanding. Phil Chacon Park, the largest city park, or one of the largest at any rate within our area, is in the design phase. It's going to be a marvelous addition to our community, and it's going to, again, address the needs expressed by local community organizations and organizations such as District 6. Recently completed the Officer Daniel Webster Park renovation. If you haven't been there, you need to take a look at it. It's a marvelous addition to the South Los Altos neighborhood community. Last but not least, the Kathryn San Mateo project is in the design stage as we speak. We're looking at a community safety building as a hub, low-cost permanent housing, and athletic fields. Again, a community-focused project, and Mayor Keller has allocated $7 million, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised if he doesn't find $1 million or two more along the way. And this is soon to be moving out of the design stage into construction. And finally, let us not forget the Gateway Center project. Ladies and gentlemen, few cities of our size across the Southwest, across our nation, have such an innovative program in the design phase process. And this was a commitment that Mayor made when he was running, that he would do something to address the homeless population, the needs of homeowners in the area, to improve the quality of life for all folks residing within District 6 and within this particular area. It's a groundbreaking program, and expect to see announcements to follow, and this program going soon to be put in place. Mayor Keller, we thank you for your leadership. We're looking for 4 more years, Mayor Keller. We need you here. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you. Really. Kathleen, yeah, sure.
I actually only came here to support this project and not really to say anything, but since I've been told I have to say something, what I want to say is I am so thrilled that we are giving Commander Yara the support that he needs, because he gives us so much support. I'm one of his biggest fans. If you can watch him on the Citizens Policing Council, I recommend it highly, because it's entertaining and informative. Thank you, Commander Yara.
Well, thank you so much. And the Southeast is also just fortunate to have such great leadership and engaged neighborhoods, and obviously with a history of challenges and underinvestment, it's due time. And so I want to thank all of you for helping lift up the neighborhoods with us. So I think with that, what we're going to do is see if there's questions and whatnot. So I think it's the Johnny Show.
All right, Jessica Dyer from the Journal.
So I think you had $9 million for this in your CIP budget, right? And the council cut like $4 million out of it?
They did. They cut phase 2 out. Yeah.
So what does that mean for this? Are you prepared to do it if you need it? Or do you have the money in a next bond cycle? Is that kind of the
Sure. So one thing we like to do, and most of the time council agrees with us, is if we're going to add or subtract, do it in phases, right? So we don't have money that's stuck. And this was a good example where we're able to totally finish phase 1 and make it usable and so forth. And that's great. But phase 2 will need the entire amount of money, whenever it's available. So we'll probably try that again next year in the CIP cycle, or, with different pots of money that might become available, whether it's through the state legislature and other means. So we'll keep pushing on phase 2, but the good news is we do have enough to totally finish phase 1 and occupy and use it. But of course, I would have loved phase 1 and 2.
What would phase 2 have brought that you're not going to get?
I think that is a good question. And Johnny, Pat, architect, I'd have to look at some of the pictures. So we might have to follow up with you on what phase 2 was.
I'll make sure to get that.
Yeah. We're also trying to make more flexible space in general, so that like what we do inside phase 2 and phase 1 can also shift. So if we get phase 2, maybe, certain rooms shift out to phase 2 and things like that.
Anything else on Southeast Area Command? One more.
How many officers are based out of here, and how many could this building accommodate with this renovation?
That is probably a good one for Chief or Commander Yara.
Johnny, how many officers do you have right now?
Come on up, the Southeast Area Command, Johnny Yara.
Hi, Commander Yada. Sorry, can you repeat your question again?
How many officers are based out of this command, and how many can it accommodate with these renovations?
So, with the accommodations with phase 1 and phase 2, it'll allot me probably about 6 more office spaces for my supervisors. It'll also offer me about 4 more office spaces for detectives. The community area will also seat 100 community event or chairs for community events. As far as phase 2, I know that was a question. That's going to hold. That's kind of our prisoner transport area where officers could come and go, process any arrestees. There'll be, investigative rooms so that they can do some recordings. There's a lot of technology that's going into that. Also, our evidence processing room is going to be a whole lot bigger to include our evidentiary storage area. So right now, currently we hold about 100 officers in this area command. So I'm hoping with the extra space for supervisors, that'll allow me, due to the 8-to-1 ratio, that'll allow me a lot more teams in the area command.
Anything else? All right, do we have questions on anything else today?
We do.